Hey guys, welcome to NTI Day 8. Today we are going to look at linear equations. Don't forget to start with your cheat sheet here. So your cheat sheet kind of goes through a review of linear equations. The first thing it goes over is the parts of an equation. We've got our coefficient, which is the number in front of the variable, indicating multiplication. We've got our variable, which is the letter used to represent the unknown value. We've got our constant, which is a number that's over here by itself. Looking over here at our multi-step equation steps. So if we are doing a multi-step equation, so let's make one up here. Let's do 2x plus 1 equals 4. Now let's do equals 5. There we go. Okay, so 2x plus 1 equals 5. First thing it says to do is to distribute if necessary. There is no need to distribute in this particular problem. Distribution is whenever you have something like 2 parentheses x plus 1, and you would need to distribute that 2 to make it 2x plus 2. Okay, but we don't have to do that in this particular one. So the next thing it says to do is combine like terms. We do not have any like terms to combine in this case. That would mean that you had maybe something like 2x plus 3x on the same side of the equal sign, and you would make that 5x. All right. Then it says to collect variables on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to draw my line here. I have all of my variables on the same side. That's my 2x here. Then it says collect constants. So my constants is my 1. I need to move my 1 because I need all of my variables on one side, all of my constants on the other. This is a positive 1, so I'm going to do my inverse operation in order to move it across this equal sign. And to cancel it out, I'm going to subtract it. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. That gives me 2x equals 4. Then it says isolate your variable with inverse operations. All right, so my variable here is with my 2x. I need to get my x by itself. So in order to do that, I need to get rid of my 2. This is multiplication here, 2 times x. Inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And that gives me x equals 2. The final step is to take your x, plug it in, and to see if it works. 2 times 2 would be 4. 4 plus 1 would be 5. So we did it right. Down here, this is just letting you know what it would look like if the answer was no solution. You would get a false statement. So 7 does not equal 5, so that means there's no solution, and that would be graphed with parallel lines. The next one is all real numbers. That would be whenever any value for x will make the equation true. So the work would end in a true statement like 7 equals 7, 2 equals 2, 3 equals 3, something like that. And when we graph them, it would mean that the two lines were graphed on the same line, that they are the same line. That would be all real numbers. Down here, this is just reviewing how we solve by substitution. So here are your steps. Remember, we need one of the equations to be y equals. Then we're going to substitute that value into the second equation. We're going to solve the new equation to find x, and then we're going to substitute that value for x in order to find y. In order to solve by graphing, our solution will be wherever the two lines intersect. All right, let's take a look at today's problems. Question number 1. Jim charges a registration fee of $75 plus $35 per month. That word per makes me think about multiplication. I'm probably going to represent the number of months with x. It's going to be something like 75 plus 35.75x. Jim B charges a registration fee of $164 plus $17.95 per month for members. When will they be the same? So I'm going to set them equal. Remember, you need to get all your variables on one side all your constants on the other. Refer to your steps on your cheat sheet for multi-step equations. All right, number 2. The graph below shows the number of hours that Rue and Zoe have been working at their jobs as well as how much money they've earned, which is a correct conclusion about the information shown in the graph. So what you're going to need to do is figure out which one of these says something true. So for 24 hours, Rue and Zoe will earn the same amount of money. So down here's your hours, here's your earnings, and here's where they intercept. So that point right there is where we're going to intercept. After 4 hours, Zoe will have earned 12 more dollars than Rue. After 4 hours, Rue will have earned 12 more than Zoe. Or after 4 hours, they will have earned the same amount of money. Number 3, find the value of x needed to make the equation below true. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve this multi-step equation. First thing, distribute. We've got to distribute here first. Then you're going to need to make sure that you combine like terms. There will be the need to combine like terms in this one. Then put constants on one side, variables on the other by using your inverse operations, and then isolate your variable. Plug these values in to x to see if they work. Make sure the answer you get makes the statement true. Number 4, find the area of the rectangle shown below. The area of the rectangle shown below is 36 square units. Set up and solve an equation to find the value of x. All right, this one's tough. So first of all, if I want to find the area of a rectangle, I have to know that area is equal to length times width. So we can make this my length and this my width. Then it says set up and solve an equation to find x. So I want to know, what is x? What is this x value right here? Well, I know one thing. I know that if I do length times width of this particular rectangle, it should equal 36 square units. So I can take the two equations I have, 4 times 2.5x minus 1.5, and set it equal to 36. Oops, that's a plus. Sorry. Make sure you made that a plus. Couldn't see it. So this could be my length, this is my width, and this is my area. So now I'm going to solve for x. Remember to distribute first and solve for x. Plug your values in to make sure it makes a true statement. All right. Puppy A weighs 4 1/6 pounds at birth and gains 3/4 pound each week. Puppy B weighs 5 2/3 pounds at birth and gains half a pound each week. After how many weeks will the puppies weigh the same amount? This is going to be just like the one from the beginning. You need to set the two equations equal to one another. And if you see this like each week, then you know that one's going to be coupled with an x because that's multiplication. So one is 4 1/6. The other one is 5 2/3 at birth and gains half a pound each week. Draw your line, follow your steps of multi-step equations, plug these variables in, whichever one you get, plug it in, plug those answers into your variable, and make sure that it makes a true statement to check your answer. Number 6, which of the following would have no solution? So if it has no solution, that means when you solve for x, you get something that's not true. So you're going to solve each of these. And when you solve them, if you get something that's like 7 equals 5, well, 7 does not equal 5. So if you get something like that where you lost your variable, notice that there is no variable. We lost it. It canceled out somewhere. We lost our variable and we got a true or an untrue statement. That means it would be no solution. Essentially, what that's saying is there is no value that you can plug into your variable to make that statement true. All right, which of the following can be determined from the graph below? So you're going to need to look at this graph and figure out which of these equations does it match up with. So when you graph these two equations here, sorry, that line was terrible. When you graph these two equations here, is it these or not? So first of all, figure out which one of them is the correct version of these lines graphed. And then also, what is this solution right here? What is this? What is this x and this y? What is that solution? You're going to be able to eliminate a few of your options immediately. Or you'll eliminate one of them because one of them does not have the right ordered pair. All right, solve the systems of equations by substitution. It's been a while since we did substitution. First of all, you need one of them to be y equals. Lucky for us, it already is. So you take the second equation and you substitute the value for y. So y is not y is x minus 5, right? Y is x minus 5 equals 4 and solve. Remember, step 1, distribute. Step 2, combine like terms. And then follow the rest of your steps from your cheat sheet. Isolate variables, isolate constants, get them on the same side, solve for your x. Now, once you find your x, so whenever you're like x equals whatever, you have to take that x and you have to go and plug it back in for y. And I'm sorry, you take that x and you plug it in for x and solve for y. So whenever you find out what x is, take this equation here, substitute x, and solve for y. All right, Cameron has a combination of quarters and nickels in his wallet. The number of nickels is 3 times the number of quarters he has. If the total number of coins is $2, how many quarters Cameron have in his wallet? All right, so the total is $2. The number of nickels is 3 times the number of quarters he has. So we're going to need to know that nickels are represented like this and quarters are represented like this. All right, so given what we know, so we know that nickels are 0.05 and quarters are 0.25, and the total number of them is going to equal $2. So what we need to do is we need to assign variables. So let's let x be nickels and y be quarters. Then we have to write our two equations. So this is a system of equations, so you're gonna have two of them. So your first equation says the number of nickels, they have a combination of quarters and nickels, and the total value of those coins is $2. So since nickels is represented by x, we're gonna make that coefficient 0.05. So 0.05x plus 0.25y, because quarters are y and they're represented by 0.25. Sorry, that's Jay's. Equals $2. So that's our first equation. Our second equation in this system says that the number of nickels is 3 times the number of quarters. So the number of nickels, x, is equal to 3 times the number of quarters. Now we have the ability to solve using substitution. It wants to know how many quarters there are, so we need to figure out what is y. What is y? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to solve my system of equations. Well, I know that x is 3y, so I'm going to come up here and replace my x with 3y. So 0.05 times 3y plus 0.25y. Let me erase this so I have some room. Equals $2. Distribute here and solve for y. You'll combine like terms and you'll solve for y. Okay? This one's pretty tough, so you get 2 attempts at it. So if you don't do so well, try again. But I think you guys can do it. I think you ended up really liking systems by the time we finish the unit. But if you can't get it, please email me. We are available till 1 o'clock and from 4 to 7. But I'm probably going to answer your email no matter what time you send it. So if you get stuck on this problem, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you guys. All right, this one's tough, but you can do it. Please let me know if you need some help, and I hope to see you guys soon. Miss you. Bye.